wonderfully aromatic, brothy seafood stir fry on a bed of really lovely, crispy noodles. It's crispy seafood noodles. Welcome back to Wok Wednesdays. You've probably seen we've been on tour with School of Wok on Tour, and why not cook other stuff like your wok cooking outdoors too? This week's Wok Wednesday is crispy seafood noodles. First thing we're going to do is just find sort of matchsticks of ginger. Spring onion and ginger as a base for any sort of seafood like prawns or lobster, crab, just works a treat. I've got some tender stem broccoli here, which is actually a hybrid of broccoli and Chinese gailan. Onto the seafood. I've got a mixture of different prawns, some already deveined and deshelled, others with the head on and shell on, which I'm just going to peel the shell off of these, but keep the heads on because that will add a lot of flavour to the sauce. Honestly, the easiest way to make a sauce taste good is some seafood shells. Just butterflying these guys and removing the vein. As you can see, I'd sort of do it with one hand clean on my knife and the other hand sort of moving the prawns around, just so I can just sort of slice into it around the back and then press down to pull out that vein. Just opening up the rest of the prawns slightly more, just so that they butterfly out nicely too. And then the squid. Just want to score across diagonally. And then cut those into more sort of bite-sized pieces. And notice I'm just throwing everything into one mixing bowl here because this outdoor wok burner is so fast on a high heat. I know it's going to cook within seconds. I'm going to make up a quick sauce to finish off my stir fry. I've got some oyster sauce here and some chili bean sauce. A couple of spoons of light soy, a little bit of sugar. So oyster sauce and light soy can be quite salty, so you just want to balance that out a little bit. And seafood has a great sort of natural sweetness, so that'll just accentuate that sweetness. Drizzle of sesame oil. And that should do it. I've got some chicken stock for the actual cooking process. And then this here is just a bit of cornstarch, which I'll mix together with some water. And that's just to thicken the sauce somewhat. I don't usually do this, or I don't often do this, but it's very classic to Cantonese cooking. And it does work when I've got sort of, I guess, a more brothy sauce that I want to wrap around the crispy noodles that I'm about to make. I've got my egg noodles here. Traditionally, you'd sort of use thinner noodles, but I quite like a crisp edge of the noodle whilst then still having a bit of a bite inside each strand. And I'm kind of laying these into a rough nest, and I've oiled this cast iron wok, this thick-based wok, well. It's important to get the wok to a good sort of medium heat before you put anything in. And that oil needs to be nice and hot before you then turn the heat down to sort of medium-low heat. And this part of the recipe takes a little bit of time. You probably want to cook this on a low to medium heat for about sort of 5-6 minutes If you feel you need to, you can just drizzle a bit of oil around the side to make sure all of your noodles get as much crisping as possible. I mean, I wouldn't usually recommend this with a cast iron wok, but I kind of feel like the only way for me to do this is a proper flick. Whoa! I sounded very Chinese there. That was good. That's crisp on both sides. And whilst this wok is still hot, I'm just going to carry on using the cast iron. You know, the most traditional woks, the first ever woks invented would have been cast iron, quite heavy, where you can't really flick it around too much. But that's okay, because I want it to retain as much heat as possible for when I flash fry the seafood. First in, your ginger and spring onion. Just move that around. Just move that around. Did you say you're on fire? You're right, I was on fire. I'm going to add a little bit of oil here, ready for my seafood. And I want this wok to be smoking hot, as it clearly is already, before any seafood goes in. Whoa, yeah, great sound. It's sizzling away now, and as I said, those prawn heads are going to add a lot of flavour to the stock once it comes in. Try not to sort of pour any of that water in. Bring that ginger and spring onion over the top, and just allow that to sear nice and vigorously before anything else happens. At this point, the seafood's going to kind of do its own thing, so I don't have to really move it around too much. So I want to build up as much heat as possible, and this broccoli can kind of steam in that seafood steam. It's actually pretty easy cooking. Some people are a little scared of cooking seafood, but for me, you want it on a high heat, sear it well, don't overcook it. So fold that through. Not too much movement, because you want to continue that high heat all the way through. This lovely sort of chili-based savoury sauce is going to go in now whilst this is really steaming hot. But my seafood is only kind of half cooked at this point. Fold that through. Oh, look at that. High heat still. It's bubbling away vigorously. I've got this chicken stock here. I'm just going to pour around the edge. I want it nice and brothy, so I'm going to use all that stock. Bring that to a vigorous boil. And once those prawns have got to a nice sort of corally pink colour, and the heads have changed colour too, just pour that corn flour paste in over the top. Bubbling hot. Switch that off. Don't overcook it. My outdoor wok burner, holiday style, crispy noodles with seafood broth. That is so deep in savoury flavour, and the crispy noodles, yeah, they're just sort of soaking in and absorbing all that lovely brothy sauce. I love this type of cooking. The wok burner absolutely did it, especially with the cast iron wok. Fantastic. If you like this type of recipe and you want to learn more, don't forget, not all our cooking is outside. We do indoor stuff too. Like, comment, subscribe, ding, hit that notification bell, and we will see you for more food.